Hello there, lovely people, it's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're going to take a closer look at this thing here, the Pokkén Tournament Pro Pad by Hori. Getting stuck straight into things, and first of all, how does it feel? Well, to put it simply, it's a bit chunkier than most modern controllers, but this thing is actually really comfy. It takes a few minutes to get used to it just like any other controller, but the matte finish and the ergonomic design really makes this thing a pleasure to hold. The buttons are top quality, nice and clicky, the D-pad is a little bit soft but it's still above average, and the shoulder buttons are huge and more like triggers than anything else. The rubber buttons used for start, select, ZL and ZR are nice to use, but their placement feels a little bit strange. ZL and ZR being down here makes sense as they're generally rarely used in the game, but personally I expect start to either be in the middle of the controller or kind of in the middle but as close to my right thumb as possible. I've pressed ZR when I wanted to press start plenty of times, and whilst it's never been during a pivotal moment in a fight, it's still annoying. So it feels great, and despite a bit of strange but generally inconsequential button placement, it's generally a lovely thing, but we are kind of avoiding the massive glowing radioactive elephant in the room. Yeah, it only works with Pokkén. I tried everything else that I could think of on the Wii U. I tried Virtual Console, I tried Smash Bros, anything, just to see if the USB interface would work with it, and it just doesn't. At the time of recording, this thing costs less than 20 quid, which is about $20 or so, give or take. I don't really know the price in America, and but to be honest, it only works with one game, and considering it's really not that different to a Wii U Pro controller, it really doesn't really feel like it's worth it. But of course, I've failed to mention one thing, and it is a big advantage. It is wired, and whilst that may sound about as appealing as a malaria sandwich to many, for some people, it's actually a really big thing. Because this thing is wired, it means that input lag is reduced to about as little as it can possibly be without further expensive wizardry that may or may not exist. So do I recommend this controller? Well, I mean, I suppose if you're really into Pokkén and you really want to get yourself that little advantage, maybe 1 or 2 frames, then yeah, I can kind of see why it would be worth it. But if you're just going to pick it up for fun, it really is extremely limited. That is unless you're in the market for a generic USB gamepad. That's right, plug this puppy into your Mac, PC, Raspberry Pi, anything like that, and start enjoying your retro games with a very reasonably priced and very well made controller. Seriously, this thing is essentially a more comfortable USB SNES controller with 2 extra buttons, and if that sounds like something you think you can really use, then yeah, I'd say pick one up. If, however, you're not really bothered by input lag on Pokkén, and you really don't use USB controllers for whatever reason, or you don't think that this doesn't look like the best chuffing controller you've ever seen, in which case you're mad, then yeah, okay, it's not really for you. Seriously though, how can you say this thing doesn't look the business? I mean, this little bezel round here, the matte white finish, it's glossy on here, but it's matte here, so no horrible fingerprints on the main bit here. It's just, overall, it just looks great, and it's a really nice controller, really nice finish to it. Look at that red bit down there, it's great, isn't it? If you don't like the look of this thing, then frankly, well, you've just got terrible taste. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you plug this bad boy into that subscribe button? There we go. Oh, it's not compatible. Oh. But anyway, be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.